Hello guys, I'm back. Today I'll clarify to you why saturated steam is preferred in heat exchanging process. My name is Jefferson Costa and this channel is dedicated to prepare chemical engineers for plant design jobs. If you want to work as a chemical engineer in plant design, it is very important that you get familiar with steam because steam is a very common utility used in many processes. But what is steam? Steam, in a few words, is the water in the vapor phase. In the point of view of chemical process engineering plant design, we find three different kinds of steam to be used. First one is the wet steam, we have the saturated steam, and we have also the superheated steam. So what is each one of them? We have here at the left side of the chart a subsaturated water. So it means that at this region we have water at liquid phase. And when we start heating up this water will go to this line here where we have saturated water. So it means that we get the boiling point of the water, like if you were doing the cookings at your home. So basically, we have the wet steam that is the two phases region of the equilibrium water vapor. We have the saturated steam that is the point where pressure and temperature leads to the equilibrium of condensation and vaporization of the water. And we have the superheated steam that is the point above the saturation point. Now that you know what is steam and which are the types of steam available in the industry, let me share with you how the saturated steam and also the superheated steam is produced in the industry. There are different ways and equipments to produce saturated steam in the industry, but there are some fundamentals that are important to you understand in order that you'll be familiar with this process. First thing is that when we are producing saturated steam, we have always the relationship between pressure and temperature. And most often during the production of the steam, we do not control the temperature of the steam. In fact, we control the pressure of the steam because once I have the pressure controlled, I have as mandatory the temperature defined of my system. So because of that, it's very important that you get familiar with this kind of chart where I know that, for instance, at 0 bar G or 1 atmosphere, I will produce steam at 100 Celsius degree. On the other hand, if I need to produce steam at 200 Celsius degree, for instance, I will need to control my equipment, my boiler or my kettle reboiler at around 17 Celsius degree. That is very important because going to the equipment, we need a source of energy. So for instance, in a boiler, we have a source of energy. This is a gas boiler where fuel is burnt to produce flue gas at around 800 Celsius degree or more. And this heat will be transmitted to the surface of the equipment. And because of that, because of the transference of heat, I will heaten up my water and I will have a steam space at the top of the equipment. And this steam space here will be controlled based on pressure. If I know the temperature that I want to, I need to control the pressure associated to that temperature. So in this way, this valve here most often will not be a manual valve, but in fact an automatic valve in order to control the pressure inside the equipment. Or I will have a header where the system is responsible to keeping the pressure under control. But in any case, I will always have some kind of control valve releasing the excess of pressure to the atmosphere, or eventually I will reduce the amount of energy that I am adding to my system to let the control of the steam at the desired conditions. Verify that as I have the steam in equilibrium with the water, In this kind of system, I will always produce saturated steam no matter how high is the temperature of the system, the temperature and the pressure. So how the superheated steam is produced? To answer this question, let's take a look in a process flow diagram representing a steam methane reforming process. This is focused on the steam side, but it shows also the steam methane reform. So to produce the superheated steam, I need to know what the superheated steam is. And by definition, the superheated steam is the steam above the saturated conditions. So when I have the water going to my boiler or to my steam drum here, we can see that it's possible to produce the saturated steam because I have water inside here. I have a thermosiphon that is connected with the flue gas that is produced during the steam methane reforming because I burn gas to increase the temperature of the system, and this gas, this burning, leads to the high temperature where I am able to use this temperature of the flue gas to heating up my water, and with this produce steam. So with this, I have water going down here, it heating up, and it returns as steam, saturated steam, because it is in equilibrium with the water that is inside in the steam drum. So as in the steam methane reforming, I use steam to mix with methane and with that produce hydrogen plus CO. I can export this steam straight to my system where I have a control valve to calibrate or to regulate the amount of steam according to the amount of methane that is going to the process. It mixes with the methane, and I heating up again this stream to have a heat integration and use this temperature to expand less fuel in the furnace or in the reformer. So in this case, I am using the saturated steam in my process. So to produce the superheated steam, I need to have a way to heating up this steam that is going out. In this case, in this first drum, it is not done, but I can verify what is happening in the clean steam drum here. So it's the same, I am injecting the water, the liquid phase goes to a heat exchanger where the return of the line is steam, saturated steam, as we have in the first equipment. But now the steam that is produced, the saturated steam, is exported and passed through the heat integration. So in this case, when I get the steam and I heating up even more this steam, it goes to the superheated area or region, and now I can inject or export to my client. So when the saturated and the superheated steam are used, in general terms, the superheated steam will be used for the generation of energy using power generators or turbines. But another use of the superheated steam is when I need to transfer the steam to another use. So although I use saturated steam in my process to do the transfer between the source where the steam is produced and the point of consumption, I need to superheat the steam to guarantee that I will not form condensation during the transportation. Because as the steam has a temperature higher than the ambient, although I will provide insulations on my pipe, I will have some kind of heat exchanging, and because I can decrease the temperature of the steam if I am in the saturated condition, any decrease in temperature will lead to formation of condensate. And we don't want condensate in the process if I need to use saturated steam. So because of that, it's important to add some degrees of superheat in the steam to guarantee that during this transportation, the steam will not condense. Talking about the application for the saturated steam, the most common use is for heat exchanging application, and you will understand why during this video here. The key to understand why saturated steam is used instead of superheated steam in process is the energy comparison between the two kinds of steam. Here you can see that I have two tables here. The first one is related to saturated steam, where I have pressure 0 bar G, 1 atm, and I have 100% vapor fraction. So it means that I have saturated steam. If my percentage here was any value below 100 and above 0, I would have wet steam, because the wet steam, as you have seen, is the combination between liquid and vapor. In this side, I have the superheated steam. Why I know, or how I know that it is superheated steam? Because the pressure is the same, the 1 atm, and the temperature is above 100 Celsius degree. Because as based on steam charts, I know that 1 atm, I vaporize, I boil the water as 100 Celsius degree. If the temperature of this steam is above 100 Celsius degree, it means that it is superheated. And although the energy of the superheated steam is higher, you can verify that enthalpy, specific enthalpy of saturated steam is lower than the superheated steam. And although the thermal conductivity of the superheated steam is also higher than the conductivity or thermal conductivity of the saturated steam, this saturated steam is still preferred for heat exchanging process. And why we have that? We have that because of the latent heat of this component. When I have the latent heat, when I use the latent heat, it means that I am changing the phase of my component. It means that I am at the vapor, 100% vapor, but when I do the heat exchanging, I change the phase, and in a small delta T, in a small differential temperature, I have a lot of energy available for heat exchanging. That is different from the superheated steam. The superheated steam do not works in the latent heat region. It works in the sensible heat region. So for the same delta T, you can verify that the heat available is lower. And that is a crucial, essential information when performing the design of shell and tube heat exchangers or any kind of exchanger where I use the steam as a source of heating. So let's take a look in a reboiler. What is a reboiler? A reboiler is a shell and tube heat exchanger where I use steam to heat up the product of my column. So I have the pot of the column, I use steam to heat up, and I will have the equilibrium between the vapor phase and the liquid phase of the product, where the vapor phase returns to the column. So why using the steam at saturated conditions in the reboiler instead of using the superheated steam? As we have seen, the superheated steam uses the sensible heat of exchanging, while the saturated steam uses the latent heat of condensation. So that's why you can see here in this chart or in this drawing that I enter with steam. During the heat exchanging, I reduce the temperature of the steam and I go out with condensate. So two basic equations for heat exchanging design is the Q equal to mass multiplied by the specific heat multiplied by differential temperature. And the second equation that is used to define the size of the equipment, the first one, I define how much energy is needed in the heat exchanger. The second equation, I am able to define what is the size of the heat exchanger. So the heat is equal to U area, a factor of heat exchanging, and the logarithmic differential of temperature of the fluids. To understand better these two equations, let's take a look in the next slide. In this slide, we have two important information. The first one is that the saturated steam has a higher heat transfer coefficient. So if we get this equation into consideration, if we evaluate this equation, we will verify that if I have a higher U or heat transfer coefficient, for the same heat that I need to exchange, I can have a lower area for my equipment. If I can have a lower area, it means that my equipment is smaller. If it's smaller, it's cheaper. If it's cheaper, it means that the project manager will be happy with you. So when I compare the steam with superheated steam, the superheated steam will have IU lower. So because of that, for the same heat, if I compare with the saturated steam, I will require a higher area, so our equipment bigger. The problem with the U is that it varies according to the material properties, type of fluids, fluid geometries, and other factors. So it's not so intuitive to understand why saturated steam is better than superheated steam for heat exchange, because it's not easy to get the U of the system. But there are another way to do this evaluation. The other way to do this evaluation is using the Q equal mCp delta T. Let's take a look in these two tables here, where I also have the saturated steam in one side and superheated steam in the other side. The differences now is that instead of operating at 0 bar G, now I am operating at 4.5 bar G. So because of that, the temperature is different from the previous one, but the condition is the same because I have saturated steam and it leads to a temperature of 148 Celsius degree. And I have superheated steam, meaning that the temperature, as the pressure is constant, is above this value here. If I evaluate now, instead of verifying the specific enthalpy, if I verify the specific heat, you can verify that my saturated steam has 0.57, rounding up. That is higher than the superheated steam that has 0.51. So it means that for the same K, for the same delta T, as I have a higher CP in the saturated steam, it means that I will need low or less mass of steam to be used in my process. If I have less mass of steam in my process, I need a smaller equipment because my flow is lower and my equipment will be lower because the pressure drop will be lower and etc. So this is another way to understand why saturated steam is preferred for heat exchanging process than the superheated. But we can evaluate that the order of magnitude of the flow using a process simulation software like the Aspen HiSys. So to exemplify to you why saturated steam is preferred instead of superheated steam in the heat exchanging process, let's verify this example where I have methane. I need to heaten up the methane from 25 Celsius degree to 100 Celsius degree. So in the first side, in the left side, I will use saturated steam. In the right side, I will use superheated steam. When we are talking about heat exchanging, it's important to you verify the conditions. So as I need to heaten up the methane as 100 Celsius degree, I need to guarantee that my steam is above this value. The heat exchanging is defined here based on the conditions, and in the steam side I have 4.5 bar as we have seen in the previous step, but in the right side I have the same value of energy to be transferred, I have the same flow and the same pressure and temperature conditions in the methane, I have the same flow, pressure, temperature conditions at the heated methane, but now you can see that in terms of flow of superheated steam, I have around 30 times the value of the saturated steam. Let's understand this. First, I am in the superheated region because my temperature in my steam is above the saturated condition. And my final temperature in the superheated steam is also above the saturated condition because I want to keep my steam in this exercise as superheated. I am not condensate the steam. So I don't have, as I mentioned to you, the latent heat of condensation to give the energy needed to heaten up the methane. And because of that, I need 30 times, 30 times the amount of flow of saturated steam to do the heating up of this methane. And again, as I told you, if I have 30 times more flow than compared to the saturated steam, I will have a much bigger equipment or heat exchanger to this process. So if I need to build my plant as a chemical process engineer in plant design, and I have available for me the superheated steam or saturated steam, I will select the saturated steam to be used. Eventually, the saturated steam will not be available because I need to do the transportation and it will arrive at the battery limit of my plant as superheated. So what we do before doing the sizing of the equipment? We do the superheating of the steam to guarantee that during my process of heat exchanging, I use saturated steam to design a smaller equipment. How to do that? I will add to another video. For now, I believe that is clear to you why now the saturated steam is preferred than the superheated steam. If you want to get high skilled in chemical process engineering plant design, get this opportunity to subscribe to my channel and also to watch this video here.